Hey everyone, I'm Bill with Coffee with Bill, and I'm glad that you're joining me. I just want to show off this really cool little coffee mug I got here recently. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's got all the books, and it's got a little twirly thing that's full of books here too. But pretty rad little coffee cup. So I just wanted to share it. It's pretty neat. Kind of the thing I wanted to talk about this evening was public shaming. It's kind of a thing that's really starting to take traction. We're starting to see it everywhere. It's pretty much touching every facet of all of our lives. And I don't know if it's really a good thing or a bad thing. Historically, public shaming happened in a town center or town square, small communities. It was used as kind of a punishment, but also as a keep in line tool. So somebody would do something bad, we'd take them to the town circle, the town square, we'd whip them, we'd cane them, even humiliate them with a little bit of rotten fruit and vegetables as punishment. But it also, the rest of the town would be like, I really don't want to be up there, I really don't want to have that happen. So it kept the community at large kind of in check. That stuff really stopped around the 20th century. And for a while, we didn't really have a whole lot of public shaming in the sense that we know it today. Where with the advent of the internet and social media and information just being readily available at the tips of our fingers, public shaming's happening every day, good and bad. An example would be Kevin Hart. Years ago, did some comedy, used some jokes, or did some jokes about gay and lesbians and the LGBT. That kind of involved his son. Years later, he came out and he apologized to the LGBT, the gays and lesbians, and said, "Look, I'm not the person today that I was back then. And I'm really sorry that I used you guys as kind of a prop in my comedy." And by and large, he was forgiven. Fast forward to not long ago, he was asked to host an award show, and it came out where people were trying to publicly shame him and say, "Look, you need to apologize for being a bigot, for bashing, being a homophobe, bashing the LGBTQ." And he said, "No, I'm not going to. I've already apologized, and I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to go down that road again. So just to create, or to not create any conflict, I'm going to step down and not be the host." Well, they wanted him to be the host, but they wanted him to basically go through a circuit of apologies, which he refused to do, which kind of squashed the public shaming to an event, but it already took place. The other side of that coin is you have Harvey Weinstein, which is an alleged sexual predator, an alleged rapist, an alleged sexual assaulter. And in the court of public opinion, he's already being publicly shamed, and right or wrong, he's being bashed. So now you got Kevin Hart, Harvey Weinstein, both being kind of measured by the same yardstick or by the same metric, and coming out basically at the same place, which I don't know if that's necessarily right. I don't know if it's necessarily fair, but as a society, we got to kind of talk and figure this out. And then you have a doctor, a dentist that went to Africa, legally purchased a hunting license, purchased all his permits, went on a lion hunt, and ended up shooting Cecil the Lion. He comes back, posts some pictures, he's a trophy hunter, showing off his hunt, and the guy's livelihood, his profession gets destroyed. Personally, he gets destroyed. His house gets destroyed. And he's just shamed. He did everything legally. Now, morally and ethically, there's some questions that could be raised, absolutely. But by the letter of the law, he did nothing wrong. But he was destroyed on public shaming via social media. what you have to be careful of, or what we have to be careful of with public shaming and social media is the mob rule mentality, because there is the effect of once something gets in motion, people pile onto it, and once the piling on happens, there's no law, there's no control. The power dynamic starts shifting within that mob, and what the original intent and what the end result are two different things. I think as a society we are smart enough and intelligent enough to be able to kind of figure out, hey, what is the matrix we need to use? How can we apply it in an appropriate way across the spectrum so that we're not, measuring somebody that said something off the cuff years ago the same way that we're measuring an alleged rapist or an alleged sexual assaulter. That's something we need to, as a society, kind of debate. We need to figure out mob rule. That may be something we can never take out of the equation, but we can learn to use social media. We can learn to use the internet in a lot smarter way, in a more constructive way. But as a society, we got to come together and figure this out. I think public shaming has a place. I think it shows the best and the worst of what we are as a society. It shows that we care, that we have a lot of emotion on wanting to do the right thing, to do justice. But there's a fine line between wanting justice and being a vigilante. And the other side of that, on the ugly side, is it shows our mob rule mentality, that we can become very lawless, very quick with the internet and instantaneous feedback through social media. So public shaming is here, it's with us, it's all around us. We need to really just kind of step back and figure out, hey, how can we publicly shame or use this tool of public shaming for good and not for bad? And how can we put empathy back into the equation? Because we've totally removed it with instantaneous feedback in society. So just some things to think about. I honestly don't have the answers personally on this, but I think it makes for a good discussion that we really need to have. So I hope it's stirred some thoughts. I hope that maybe it stirred a little bit of passion on the subject. And I look forward to hearing your feedback. So please leave comments. I'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts are on this. Click the subscribe button, and I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Until then, enjoy some great coffee.